What's up, party animals? My name is Kezi, and today I wanted to go behind the curtain and explain a little bit about what it's like and what I do to be a YouTuber. Now, I've been a YouTuber for a long time. I actually started in middle school, probably over half my life ago by this point. So I've had a ton of experience on, what it's like to be behind the camera, in front of the camera, and on the internet. I watch a lot of YouTube in general, so I kind of pick apart the things that I do like, the things that I dislike, or the things that I'd like to do. And I wanted to start with what you're seeing right now. The visuals. Video is, well, video. You see it with your eyes. I think one of the biggest things that'll make your videos pop in a way that most other videos don't is lighting. And while I have some probably admittedly overpriced lighting, you can get stuff for really, really cheap in the modern era. And I think, if you go back and look at one of my early videos, think the one about the wizard, it's not very well lit. And I was just getting a hang of, fursuiting in front of the camera. But look at something like that to something now, and I have lighting actually in multiple different layers. So I have a light in front of me. Because my eyes are follow me eyes, I actually need a light projecting right into my face so that I don't have hard shadows showing that my eyes are actually sunken into the fursuit head, so that I'm always looking at the camera. So I have a light facing me directly. That's a specific fursuit trick. Most YouTubers who show their human face don't really have that light shining centered on the camera, because you do want those shadows to kind of highlight the features of who you are. But as a furry, I need the eyes to look right. Now, that's that light. I also have a light over on the side over here. This one casts shadows, so you kind of see that this side is pink and this side is kind of not pink. So it kind of makes like a gradient across my body. And then I have the lights behind me so that I pop out of the frame. And what you want to do is, again, big key point for furries, you want to pick lighting that is contrasted to what your color is. For example, someone like Fluke Husky, who is blue, is able to use warm lighting in the background, because the oranges and reds contrast very sharply against the blue fur that Fluke has. However, I'm more tan and orange, and so I'm already warm colored, so I need the lighting behind me to actually be opposite of that and to be cooler than my fur. You can use, again, super cheap stuff. You can find little video lights with multicolor effects for like 10 to 20 bucks on Amazon. Being a YouTuber in the modern era is crazy because there's tons of prosumer grade lighting equipment. Back 20 years ago, if you wanted a light that wasn't just a light bulb, oh boy, you needed to spend a lot of money. You needed to get gels, you needed to use filters, you needed to use these super hot, high temperature lights to filter out the colors so you could get, these kind of cool effects. But now, LEDs are a dime a dozen, literally. So it's very easy to get really cool lighting in your videos, and I think that's one of the biggest things you can do to make your videos pop, especially as like the thumbnails and stuff like that, or with the first few seconds of actually looking at the video. Now, video is only half of a video, actually. You're listening to me, aren't you? You're not watching this on mute just to see my fursuit wiggle around. You're listening to me talk. And that's the second biggest thing. Actually, I would say it's the first biggest thing when making a video. Oddly enough, your audio needs to be as good as it possibly can get. And I think that that's where a fair bit of my initial money was going into when I first started this channel. I had bought a really nice microphone and a really nice audio recorder. And that's the biggest thing ultimately is if you don't have good audio, your video will get clicked off of very quickly. Because if I don't understand what you're saying, then I'm not going to be able to enjoy the video that much. And that's a big part of, watching a video is listening to it. A lot of people, they'll put on the video and then they'll just kind of listen to it in the background and only look on screen if there's something appearing. And I think the biggest thing is how to mic a fursuit. And one of these days, I do want to make a full video about how to mic a fursuits that are best for miking. And I'll give you a teaser. My fursuit head has a huge open mouth. And I've noticed that my voice can actually project out of my mouth or out of my fursuit mouth a lot better than some fursuits with really tight mouths. If you'll notice, you probably can't hear me as well. So that's why my mouth is always really open. And that's a big part if you're able to make your own fursuit for making videos, or if you're working with a creator, try to bring that up if that's something you want to do, is a big open mouth. You can get other things too. Some people use lavaliers. Now, that doesn't sound as good as you still get a lot of the rumble without a lot of the the voice out, but with some post editing, bring down the lows, bring up the highs, you can make a good balance. But I reiterate, audio is probably the biggest thing you can do to make your videos more watchable than, upgrading your scene or upgrading your camera or anything like that. Because without good audio, your videos can't really be watched because it's an audio visual experience. So let's say you got that out of the way. You got a great microphone, you're not using your smartphone microphone. Well, then you got a camera. And I gotta say, you don't actually need anything that crazy. In the modern era, everyone has a smartphone with a million cameras that are all better than a DSLR was, 30 years ago. When you can record in such high definition quality, using your smartphone with a high quality microphone is actually your best bet for a beginner. Now, if you really absolutely love that blurry background or bokeh, you can get really inexpensive DSLR cameras that do that really well. Or not even necessarily DSLR, but interchangeable lens cameras. That's such a small upgrade path compared to what you can get with your smartphone. My camera costs as much as my phone does. And so you don't really need that. I have it because I've been doing this for, how old am I? So you can do a lot with what you have. When I started, actually, I was using the shoulder-mounted VHS camcorders that took here, I actually have one. So while newer devices record on tiny little SD cards, I was recording on this, and it only held 8 hours. And that's probably on a really crappy setting. So when you're recording on something the size of a book, the whole camera was extremely heavy. I just set it on a table. No tripod I had could actually hold something up like that. But nowadays we have smartphones and everything. And that's the biggest thing you can do is just get started right away. No matter what you have, if you wear a paper mache fursuit head, or if you got a multi-$1,000 fursuit like all the pros, just start, because you're not going to get better by not doing anything. You're going to get better with practice. As much experience as I had prior to making this YouTube channel, when you look at my first videos, almost 5 years ago now, but when you look at my earliest videos to these recent videos, you'll notice that a lot has changed. My voicing, how I talk, how I move around. I want to be a spectacle and I want to be heard. And so having a good voice, practicing how you speak, practicing all of these things is so important to creating good videos, because like I've said, for a million things that I recommend trying, to make something good, you first have to make something bad. And with that, that's a little bit of how I make videos, my mindset of the process. Wanted to do something easy after last video. That was a lot of work for the setup and teardown and yada, yada, yada. If you do want to see the setup and teardown, it's on my Patreon. But until next time, thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye. Yep, I'm making videos. Hope this turns out well. Sorry for the little bit of a delay on the videos. Been struggling. Things are kind of bad, so please help if you can. Patreon's in the description. And until next time, bye.